Today on Good Morning Maine, a woman accused of murdering her boyfriend in Etna will make her first court appearance today.
Plus, food pantries in Hancock County are concerned how budget cuts will impact the growing need for food assistance.
And thousands visited sugar houses around the state to celebrate Maine Maple Weekend. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up over the next hour. But first, a check with that forecast. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. It might be spring, but it looks like a little wintry weather will be moving into the state. Later on this morning, we'll start getting snowfall here in the Bangor area.
I think a lot of people are saying, I knew it.
Enough.
I knew
well,
it.
You know, it always happens around this time of year.
That was a false start,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah, chilly this morning, and that's just kind of an indicator of what we can expect throughout the day. We'll get a few inches here in the Bangor area, it looks like. Already some schools are adjusting their schedules. Old Town has announced that they'll be letting kids out a little early today, and Bangor's canceling all after-school activities, you know, that kind of thing. It could get a little slippery later on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Here's Devin Biggs with that forecast.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and at our newest location, 485 Main Street in Orono. We have the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, winter weather advisories are posted, and these will last until 2 a.m. Tuesday for the counties highlighted in purple for snow accumulations that will be on the way today. We also have a small crowd advisory up until 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Meanwhile, the radar and satellite quiet for the moment, but the key word is at the moment. We are watching for active weather that is off to the south and west. Mainly a snow today, maybe later this evening, a little bit of rain mixing in, but that's about it. We'll watch the snow moving in throughout the morning and afternoon period. A little bit of rain on the south side of that, but it will taper off later on tonight. Maybe a little bit of fog trying to mix in as well. Some gusty winds also on the way, up to 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. Those back off tonight and looking pretty breezy again as we head towards the daytime tomorrow, but overall not looking too bad. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mostly cloudy sky, snow arriving by the afternoon, temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
All right, thank you very much, Devin. We'll see you later on. Well, Mainers are continuing to raise their voices against the federal government. A group of protesters spoke out against President Trump's executive order to ban transgender students from women's sports. Allison LaPierre has more about that big rally down in Cumberland.
We are here today to stand up against the threats and the bullying.
A protest aimed at protecting young transgender athletes.
I'm here because I'm an educator, a mom, a grandmother, and a good human being, and I'm ashamed of how people are being treated because they're different.
Cumberland is home to MSAD 51, a school district that entered the national spotlight after State Representative Laurel Libby posted a photo of a transgender athlete on Facebook. This led to President Trump threatening to withhold federal funds from the state of Maine if Governor Janet Mills didn't comply with his executive order to ban transgender athletes from playing in girls' sports.
This district, MSAD 51, and the state of Maine are being unjustly targeted for lawfully following the Maine Human Rights Act and allowing transgender athletes to compete according to their gender identity.
Last week, the Trump administration put the state of Maine on the clock. He gave MSAD 51, the Maine Department of Education, and the Maine Principals Association 10 days to comply with the executive order. Some Mainers are remaining firm in their positions, but Representative Libby says the governor needs to change course.
We need to ensure that our girls have a safe, fair, and level playing field, and it's time for Governor Mills to do the right thing and legislative Democrats and to change the policies to ensure that biological males are not participating in girls' sports so that we don't lose hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what's at stake here.
The state of Maine has 5 more days before Trump's deadline. At that point, the case could be referred to the Justice Department.
And that was Allison LaPierre reporting. President Donald Trump has taken to social media demanding an apology from Governor Janet Mills following their ongoing dispute over transgender athletes. The president made a post on the platform Truth Social on Saturday. calling for the governor herself to deliver a, quote, full-throated apology. It's been 1 month since President Trump and Governor Mills have had a heated exchange during the National Governors Association winter event. That's when Governor Mills said, quote, "I'll see you in court," in response to the president's threats to strip our state of its federal funding if Mills refused to comply with Trump's executive order, banning transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. The chair of the political science department at the University of Maine says regardless of how the governor decides to respond, the issue could still very likely result in a federal court battle.
While things are tied up in court, that doesn't stop, kind of the real world from unfolding. So, whatever funding is at risk, I'm sure that there are, people who rely on that funding for important services or benefits. And even if that funding is temporarily delayed, that can have real world repercussions for a lot of people.
In his post, President Trump went on to ask Governor Mills to also issue a statement that she will not make this kind of challenge to the federal government ever again. We've reached out to the governor's office for comment and have yet to receive a response.
Well, in other news this morning, a woman accused of murdering her boyfriend in Etna is expected to make her first court appearance today. The man was found dead in a home on Old County Road early Friday morning. According to the Maine State Police, an autopsy performed on 41-year-old Luke Norris on Saturday showed his death was caused by multiple sharp force injuries. Authorities on Friday arrested Norris's girlfriend, 36-year-old Heidi Tasker, and charged her with murder. Officials say the couple lived in the home together. According to the state police, Tasker is currently being held without bail at the Penobscot County Jail. Back in 2011, Tasker also served 9 months in jail after being charged with manslaughter for a crash that killed her 19-year-old boyfriend.
Maine State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-295. Spokesperson Shannon Moss says at approximately 6 a.m. on Friday, the Bangor and Augusta Regional Communications Centers received multiple calls about a wrong-way driver on the turnpike near mile marker 42 down in Scarborough. She says witnesses reported a car traveling northbound in the southbound lane that subsequently exited the turnpike onto I-295. According to Moss, the car was later seen traveling through the I-295 tolls in South Portland. The car collided head-on with a tractor-trailer traveling southbound near exit 4. 86-year-old George Vandenberg of Portland was driving the car. He died at the scene. The driver of the tractor-trailer was transported to Maine Medical Center in Portland with non-life-threatening injuries. Both lanes of traffic were closed for several hours. They've since been reopened. Moss says the crash remains under investigation.
Well, meanwhile, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is investigating a hit-and-run crash in Dixmont. At around 6:40 on Friday night, crews received a report of a motor vehicle and pedestrian crash near the intersection of Hog Hill Road and Kennebec Road in Dixmont. They found a male lying on the side of the road in critical condition, appearing to have been struck by a vehicle. The man was transported to a nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. Anyone with information about that accident is asked to contact the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office.
A Belfast woman arrested as part of a year-long investigation into drug trafficking has been indicted by the Waldo County Grand Jury. 25-year-old Brittany Saucier was indicted for receiving stolen property, unlawful possession of drugs, and violation of condition of release. In August, members of the Belfast Police Department and the Waldo County Sheriff's Office went to 64 Swan Lake Avenue. Belfast Police Chief Robert Cormier says they found what is believed to be methamphetamine, fentanyl, scales, several cell phones, and other items connected to illegal drug sales. Cormier says they also recovered stolen handguns and other weapons. All right, the time now is 6:09. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, food pantries in Hancock County say they've already been seeing a higher demand for help, and they worry funding cuts will only make it worse. We'll have the story coming up.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A wintry day ahead today. Snow is likely as the day rolls along. Highs will be around 35 degrees. Rain and snow continuing tonight before coming to an end. The lows will drop down to the upper 20s. Tomorrow, we may also see a little rain and snow. Otherwise, not a bad day ahead with highs near 44. We'll be right back.
If you love high-power boating, the V8 you've been waiting for is here. The all-new Honda BF350 V8 outboard from Honda Marine combines premium power with unparalleled performance for one exhilarating boating experience after another. It's Honda's first ever production V8, and it's backed by Honda's True 5-year limited warranty. The all-new BF350 V8, only from Honda Marine.
Save up to $5,000 on a new Honda outboard. Visit Peary Marine today for more details.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality, homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it serious. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches. Voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
Hi, Eastern Maine. Watch Person, Place, or Thing right here on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 10 a.m.
Join America's favorite game.
You never know what's going to happen.
For the I can't believe it.
Oh, my goodness.
And always for the unexpected.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That's not it, but thank you. Who knows what we will do next?
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. In other news this morning, Maine General Health plans to lay off 100 full-time employees next month. Maine General has a number of locations, including the inpatient hospital and the Harold Alphons Center for Cancer Care down in Augusta, as well as the Thayer Center for Health and Elmwood Primary Care in Waterville. They also have other health care offices in Fairfield, Gardner, Hollowell, Belgrade, and Winthrop. A statement from Nathan Howell, Maine General President, and CEO, says, quote, the current crisis in Maine care funding compounds an already tenuous financial footing for Maine General and other hospitals in the state. Maine's nonprofit hospitals are challenged by declining reimbursement from ratepayers. Reimbursement rates are not covering the actual cost of care. Additionally, we are experiencing excessive denials, especially from Maine Care Advantage plans. The cost of doing business is increasing, which is not unique to healthcare. These are just some of the challenges we have been facing.
Food pantries around Hancock County are feeling the weight of impending USDA funding cuts. Our Kelly Warren has the story.
It's the literal food, the food that we get from the federal government that is being cut right now.
Food pantry directors say the needs are great.
5 years ago, we were doing maybe 30 families a day. Now we're doing over 100 every day.
And now, with cuts in federal support, it means less Mainers will be fed.
Most of our partners across the state are going to see a reduction in both the amount of fresh food from local Maine farms and the shelf-stable pantry items that they rely on.
Maine's Good Shepherd Food Bank contracts with food pantries across the state to distribute federally funded food to around 600 total pantries. 2 USDA programs are being cut that help support food insecure Mainers. The Local Food Purchasing Assistance, or LFPA program, which helped purchase locally grown food for pantries.
LFPA has been cut by $1.25 million that we know of so far.
And TFAP, which gets hundreds of thousands of pounds of shelf-stable goods into pantries. McCarthy says TFAP is being cut by 250 to 500,000 pounds per month until the end of June.
From April 1st through June 30th, and the future of that program after June 30th is uncertain.
With the latest round of cuts, we're advised from Good Shepherd that was going to drop by 40 to 65%, and that's what's actually occurring on our next delivery, which is the start of April. It's dropped to 3,500 pounds, so we basically lost 6,500 pounds of food. So
it's a little bit of a feeling of uncertainty in a time when a lot of other things are uncertain for many people, and that's a challenge definitely for all of the people that we work with and all of those that we serve or come through our lives.
To find out how to support your local food pantries, visit the story on our website.
Yeah, we'll appreciate all the help we can get.
Callie Warren reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, they say the show must go on, but a theater is calling for the community's help to help keep the lights on. The Schoolhouse Arts Center down in Standish has hosted hundreds of plays over the last 4 decades, but as Allison LaPierre reports, the building is unfortunately in rough shape.
We could not continue for a year without fixing things.
Schoolhouse Art Center is more than just a theater. For Anna Pearson, it's become her second home.
Schoolhouse is such a homey atmosphere. Everyone is just inviting and non-judgmental, and just a great place to be creative together and have fun.
The schoolhouse is located in a century-old building. It requires critical maintenance to keep operations going.
There's a lot of leaks, there's a lot of things kind of falling apart around us, and the building needs to be cared for.
From broken windows, holes in floors, and even squirrels running around, leaders of Schoolhouse are looking for the community support.
We are focusing on, keeping the building alive, doing the maintenance that needs to be done to keep everything safe and keep everything comfortable for our audiences.
Artistic director Christopher Koff expects the schoolhouse to relocate somewhere else next year, but Koff says they need a helping hand to keep the lights on during their transition.
Any support, any help, is so appreciated, just to continue keeping this alive.
Schoolhouse Art Center plans to continue hosting shows starting April 4th.
That was Allison LaPierre reporting. So many of these old theaters around the state facing similar problems.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, absolutely. The time now is 6:16. After the break, spring has sprung, and here in Maine, that means we'll see snow.
Say it isn't so. We'll have our local and national weather trends coming up after the break.
Hurry into the Nissan Now sales event to save on an award-winning new Nissan, like the all-new Kicks and Murano. And our best-selling Rogue at the Nissan Now sales event. Nissan over 6 vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
Hi everyone, Troy Pearl here. For a decade, Renewal by Anderson has been so much more than just a window and door replacement company. We've been your neighbors, your partners, your friends, growing together in a community we all proudly call home. From campuses to concerts, we've enjoyed entertainment together, celebrated life's milestones, and enhanced homes and lives. We couldn't have done it without the incredible support of our suppliers, providing us with top-notch products, and a special shout-out to our dedicated employees. You are the heart and soul of Renewal by Anderson. Your hard work, passion, and commitment to excellence inspires us every day. As we celebrate our 10th anniversary, we're overflowing with gratitude. Our journey has been fueled by a commitment to giving back through charitable organizations that uplift our community, reminding us that every window we replace isn't just about homes. It's about creating a better future for all. Thank you, everyone who has made 10 years possible. Here's to many more.
The better way to a better window. Renewal by Anderson.
Hurry into the Nissan Now sales event to save on an award-winning new Nissan, like the all-new Kicks and Murano. And our best-selling Rogue at the Nissan Now sales event. Get 4.49% financing for 60 months on Kicks.
The latest destructive storm moving across the eastern U.S. right now, bringing a wet commute to some cities in the Northeast.
Severe damage in the south, and particularly to one community that's suffered before. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with more.
This morning, people in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, assessing the damage from another tornado.
Tornado in the field beside me.
The storm damaging multiple buildings and bringing down power lines. Long pieces of wood slicing into the ground like daggers. The side of this warehouse peeling away like the lid of a can. A strong storm devastated much of Rolling Fork 2 years ago this week. Back in March 2023, a tornado packing winds of nearly 200 miles per hour destroyed a third of all homes in Rolling Fork, killing 15 people. Meanwhile, just 6 months after Hurricane Helene hit western North Carolina, that same region is now seeing mandatory evacuations due to wildfires. 4,000 acres have now burned in Polk County, at least 4 homes destroyed.
We've got friends that are evacuating their homes in Lake Adger area because the fire's right on their heels, and they're coming here to stay at our home.
Making the firefight more difficult, some roads and bridges still haven't been repaired since Helene. And hurricane debris, including downed trees, are now helping fuel those fires. Good. Residents packed into this meeting, voicing concern about neighbors cut off due to phone service still spotty after Helene.
We live in a rural area, and so not everybody has internet here or even has great cell service.
Firefighters from as far as Oregon and Montana now rushing to help and this restaurant south of Asheville is helping feed them.
We did 150 hot dogs in about 2 hours.
Dry and windy conditions also fueling fires from South Carolina, where an emergency was declared, all the way up to New Jersey, where 2 campgrounds were forced to evacuate. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Boy, I won't complain about a couple of inches of snow today after seeing all that.
No, I was telling Craig while we were watching that, it's like, I feel pretty lucky in Maine. We don't have other severe weather that other places in the country get.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, but we are getting snow, so let's get a look at that forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and at our newest location, 485 Main Street in Orono. We have the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Here we go. We have a winter weather advisory posted until 2 a.m. Tuesday for the counties in purple for snow accumulations that may cause some issues moving forward today. We also have a small craft advisory up along the coast until 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. So overall, we're not too bad, at least just quite yet with regards to the wave heights, but further out towards sea, a little bit more active at around 7 feet at this time. The radar and satellite quiet at the moment, but we are watching our rain and snow opportunities that will be on the way, mainly as snow for us, but we could see a little bit of rain along the coast later on this evening. So let's talk about this. We have some snow on the way by around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it may get heavy at times. There's that little bit of rain possible along the southern coast arriving later this evening. Then the snow starts to wrap up later on tonight. Some clouds and fog will also be a possibility tonight and a parts of Tuesday morning, and a few more rain and snow showers on the way throughout the day Tuesday and the parts of early Tuesday evening. Then we'll clear out for a bit, maybe more areas of dense fog by early Wednesday morning. So here's the thinking with regards to the snowfall. Anywhere you see pink indicates the possibility of 3 to 5 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts, but anywhere else you see blue or purple, really. Blue really is what I'm seeing with regards to the color. Around 1 to 3 inches of snow will be possible. But otherwise, some gusty winds to watch out for, getting up to 20 to 25 miles per hour today. We will calm down later on tonight. Maybe a few gusty winds tomorrow, getting up to 15 to 20 miles per hour in a few areas. So for today, we have mid-30s, snow likely breezy out there. Southeast wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Tonight, rain and snow showers ending, lows in the upper 20s, areas of dense fog as well, and an east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mid-40s, rain and snow showers, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Rain and snow chances Wednesday with highs in the mid-40s. Mid-40s again for your Thursday, another chance for rain and snow showers, and yet again, another chance for rain and snow showers on Friday with highs in the mid-40s.
Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. We pride ourselves on our honesty and integrity. We'll always give you the best garage door repairs at a real price. Had your doors installed by another company? That's okay. Our experienced team is available to service all brands and models. Visit us at pdqdoor.com.
GMA, tomorrow morning, live. Amanda Knox. After living through the unimaginable, she comes live to GMA, the all-new morning exclusive. What does she want you to know? Amanda Knox, tomorrow morning, live on GMA.
Your local financial partner has a new name, the County Federal Credit Union. And we're inspired by the people we serve, the big dreamers and smart planners, the risk takers and trailblazers. As a lifelong partner offering powerful tools and personal service, we were built for our members. Start a financial relationship that's driven by community and inspired by you. Visit countyfcu.org.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
This week on The View, get ready. Bill Murray, Naomi Watts, Natalie Dormer, Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Seth Rogen, and Katherine Hahn, all on America's most watched daytime talk show, ABC's The View.
There's a lot riding on your garage door. There's never a good time to get stuck in your garage. Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. For emergency service and garage door maintenance, PDQ Door is here to help. Online at pdqdoor.com, where we sell the best and service the rest.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, an appeals court will begin to weigh in on President Trump's use of the centuries-old Alien Enemies Act, which he used to deport hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members. Trump and his allies continue to speak out against the judge in the case as he considers whether the administration defied his court order. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more from Washington.
This morning, an escalating legal battle between the Trump administration and the courts themselves takes its next step. 3 judges on an appeals panel are set to hear the case over Venezuelan migrants recently deported to El Salvador, as the administration tries to get the original judge off the case.
Despite what he thinks, we're going to keep targeting the worst of the worst.
Judge James Boasberg ruled the administration improperly used the 18th century Alien Enemies Act to deport more than 200 Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. The migrants are alleged gang members, though the families of several dispute that claim, and according to sworn testimony, ICE officials say many have no violent criminal record in the U.S. The administration went forward with the deportations despite the judge's ruling, and today, Boasberg is scheduled to decide whether that move defied his court order. President Trump, his cabinet, and several congressional Republicans have called for the judge's impeachment.
This is an out-of-control judge, a federal judge trying to control our entire foreign policy, and he cannot do it.
In his fact-finding mission about the timing of the deportations despite his court order, Boasberg asked the administration share information. What they handed over last week, he said, was, quote, woefully insufficient. As the fight between Trump and the courts heats up, so do protests against Trump's policies. Hundreds of people gathered in Richmond, Virginia over the weekend. The backdrop, St. John's Church, where founding father Patrick Henry made his "Give me liberty or give me death" speech 250 years ago. And over the weekend, Venezuela continued accepting deportation flights from the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem plans to visit Central America this week, making a stop at the prison in El Salvador where those migrants were deported to. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
The Trump administration is reportedly laying out who will and who won't be on an upcoming tariff list. A Wall Street Journal report says the Trump team is becoming more specific about what industries are affected by planned tariffs. The tariffs will be reciprocal tariffs that President Trump has promised. The report says sector-specific industries such as automobiles, semiconductor chips, and pharmaceuticals might not be hit by tariffs, announced on April 2nd. The report says the administration wants to focus on 15% of countries with which the U.S. has regular trade unevenness, a so-called Dirty 15 list. The fate of sectoral tariffs on Canada and Mexico aren't yet known.
Well, the IRS and a key immigration agency may partner together on data to help with border security issues. In other news, Gaza's health ministry says the Israeli military has struck the largest hospital in southern Gaza, killing a Hamas leader. Hamas has verified that the senior official, Ismail Barhum, who was undergoing treatment at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, was killed in that attack. Israeli defense officials have confirmed the IDF successfully eliminated Barhum, who had been described as, quote, the new Hamas prime minister in Gaza. The strike set off a large fire in the hospital's surgical building as well. Nasser Hospital has been overwhelmed with dead and injured since Israel resumed the war in Gaza with a surprise wave of airstrikes that killed hundreds of people. The resumption of hostilities occurred when Hamas refused to release the remaining Israeli hostages.
Boeing has landed a big contract with the federal government. Last week, the Air Force chose the giant aerospace company to build and deliver its next generation of fighter jets. President Donald Trump says the new high-performance aircraft will have what he called unprecedented power, and also said America's enemies won't be able to see the jets coming. Very few specifics about the planes are being released. The value of the contract between the government and Boeing was not disclosed. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, it was a big to-do over the weekend as Mainers flocked to Sugar Shacks to celebrate the holiday.
We'll check out the crowd during Maine Maple Weekend. Coming up right after the break.
Is your driveway in distress? Dirt yard dragging you down? Call Paramount Paving, Penobscot County's most trusted name in driveways. With more than 1,000 jobs installed and a 4.5 rating on Google, it's easy to see why. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount. Call today for your free estimate.
The FlexSteel Spring Semi-Annual Sale is in full bloom with fresh savings on fabric and leather reclining and stationary furniture, tables, beds, desks, dressers, and more. Furniture that comforts. Furniture that endures. All with a blue steel spring at its core. FlexSteel, designed for living, built for life. Save big today during FlexSteel Spring Semi-Annual Sale.
Dorsey Furniture, open 7 days a week, Route 1A Holden.
Dreaming of the ultimate ride? Now's the time. At Lincoln Power Sports, qualified buyers get 0% financing for 60 months on all remaining 2025 Ski-Doo models. But hurry, this offer ends March 31st. Plus, when you buy from Lincoln Power Sports, you get our exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty because we stand by what we sell. Don't wait. Call 794-8100 or stop by today before the snow and this deal are gone.
Commercial vehicles can be dangerous, and they usually carry big insurance policies. So whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or a big rig like this, we know commercial vehicle accidents, and we know how to get you the big money you may deserve. If any commercial vehicle hurts you, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you. Call 222-2222.
Is your driveway in distress? Dirt yard dragging you down? Call Paramount Paving, Penobscot County's most trusted name in driveways. With more than 1,000 jobs installed and a 4.5 rating on Google, it's easy to see why. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount. Call today for your free estimate.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025. This is also Tick Bite Prevention Week.
Oh, that's a good one for Mainers. This week aims to raise awareness about the precarious health disaster that ticks can bring. Thousands of people get infected with Lyme disease each year which can cause extreme health conditions and even problems with the nervous system. Craig needs glasses. He wrote that as nervous system.
I was nervous this morning. Sorry about that.
Oh, you need a new pair of glasses. This is the time of year when people are becoming more active outside, which is the perfect time to take precautions to avoid bites from dangerous ticks.
Otherwise, it will make you nervous. Yeah.
I have been pretty nervous about it.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I remember in March a few years ago, I got a tick on me in Old Town, and I was like, whoa, it's pretty early for this.
Yeah.
And of course, Mainers know we don't have to give you the spiel. We know all the concerns that can come from ticks. I mean, I've known people that have gotten Bell's palsy from Lyme disease.
Really? Yeah.
And Lyme disease has all sorts of complications. You may not even realize you have Lyme because the symptoms are so kind of normal.
I've got some friends who have Lyme too. It's just disastrous. Some people have had to leave their jobs because of it. So
chronic pain. It's a chronic illness.
Yeah. And it can screw up your nervous system.
Your nervous system.
Sorry, I do need.
That derailed the whole thing.
Sorry
didn't
about
it?
that. I'll make a joke at a serious moment.
Nervous.
All right, time for history. On this day in history, back in 1921, the Women's Olympiad, the first international women's sporting event, began in Monte Carlo, Monaco.
You know, my grandparents won a trip to Monte Carlo.
Really?
On the radio.
Huh, that's
Just
cool.
These, like, working class folks from Belfast, and they got to go to Monte Carlo.
How nice for them. Yeah, I'd love to go there sometime.
Me too.
In 1947, the U.S. Congress proposed the limitation of the presidency to 2 terms. In 1958, Elvis Presley was inducted into the U.S. Army on this date. And in 1972, the Francis Ford Coppola movie, The Godfather, opened in theaters all around the nation.
Wow, yeah, talk about an iconic film.
Yeah.
In 1987, the AIDS Coalition held a massive demonstration on Wall Street to protest against pharmaceutical companies that were profiting from the AIDS pandemic. Hundreds of protesters laid in the street or held signs demanding corporate and government action to release life-saving drugs, to make them affordable, and to end AIDS-related discrimination. And in 1989, the supertanker Exxon Valdez ran aground in Alaska, causing one of the worst oil spills in U.S. history. An estimated 11 million gallons spilled into the water, polluting 700 miles of coastline. And in 2016, a UN war crimes court convicted the former Bosnian Serb leader of genocide and other charges as well, for orchestrating a campaign of terror that left 100,000 people dead. And in 2017, 560 people dressed as ghosts at a school in Tralee, Ireland. They were attempting to set a world record and to also highlight the invisibility of arthritis.
I thought you might like that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I got an idea.
This is like, I love, you know, two birds, one stone.
Right,
Yeah.
right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, today's birthdays include actor Jim Parsons. You know him from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
He's 52 years old today. Actress Allison Hannigan is 51, and Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning is 49 years old today. So happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to you, too, if it's your birthday. Got to take care of your nervous system.
Your nervous system.
So
yeah, I know.
I'll fix that for the next hour. So.
Okay, hey, we do have some snow on the way. I hope everybody got their eggs and bread and stuff yesterday. Grocery store wasn't too busy.
No, I don't know.
You been nervous about that?
I've been very nervous.
Okay, here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
I got to fix that.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and at our newest location, 485 Main Street in Orono. We have the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, winter weather advisories are posted, and these will last until 2 a.m. Tuesday for the counties highlighted in purple for snow accumulations that will be on the way today. We also have a small crowd advisory up until 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Meanwhile, the radar and satellite quiet for the moment, but the key word is at the moment. We are watching for active weather that is off to the south and west. Mainly has snowed today, maybe later this evening, a little bit of rain mixing in, but that's about it. We'll watch the snow moving in throughout the morning and afternoon period. A little bit of rain on the south side of that, but it will taper off later on tonight. Maybe a little bit of fog trying to mix in as well. Some gusty winds also on the way, up to 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. Those back off tonight and looking pretty breezy again as we head towards the daytime tomorrow, but overall not looking too bad. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a mostly cloudy sky, snow arriving by the afternoon, temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
Thank you, Devin. Well, Maine Maple Weekend is a time-honored Maine tradition, and hundreds showed up to the Williams family farm in Clifton on Saturday to celebrate.
Our Callie Warren has the story.
Maple syrup is the best kind of syrup.
From the taps to the treats, Williams Family Farm has all things maple.
Huge area inside with a lot of samples of all the stuff that we make. Maple cream, kettle corn, coated nuts, sugar candies, all kinds of different types of syrups.
And their busiest weekend of the year is this one, Maine Maple Weekend, where hundreds came to the farm to enjoy a pancake breakfast, sample some sweets, and learn more about the industry.
It's the kickoff to spring. You know that we've turned the corner at this point. Winter's over. Spring's happening. So yes, it is something to look forward to.
Williams says the maple stock continues to grow as they tapped an additional 400 trees this year, resulting in more sweet syrup.
Should be flowing pretty good today. I think I've seen the truck leave here several times already, so there's been several thousand gallons brought here already today of sap.
And maple fans got a taste of the behind-the-scenes process.
What's your favorite part?
Probably watching it get made and probably tasting it.
Basically, I go down and I unload the tanks in the woods, hopefully before they overflow. So I take it and I actually pump it from this tank into this tank, And then this tank gets incorporated into that process.
That 600-gallon tank of sap will result in about 10 gallons of maple sugar after water is evaporated from the sap.
It's an intensive process, right?
Yes.
Yes. Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Maple people, that's it?
You have to really love the maple syrup because it's not for the weak of heart. It's like you're doing it at home. It's like a little tiny thing of, container for a whole lot of sap.
In Clifton, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
You know, I don't eat pancakes very often just because I don't make them for myself, but I had them twice yesterday. I woke up and my roommate made pancakes. We had maple syrup, and then I went over to my brother's house. They were serving up pancakes, so I had some more. Our friends Allison and Troy Bailey from over in Hamden, they boil their own sap, and they have a big thing. You know, it's just another one of those rite of spring kind of things. So
it's fun,
and it's so good.
I had a friend who made a party out of boiling sap a few weeks ago. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's what they do. They just have a big container. They put it on a stove and they burn it all afternoon or whatever the heck they do, and turn it into a little party. So yeah. Fun.
Maine is so cool. Yeah. All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
Bring your new kitchen to life with help from the Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring Division by Hammond Lumber Company. Bring in your ideas or get inspired by Hammond's extensive showroom displays. Your Hammond sales rep will help you create a materials list and cost estimate, and Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And Hammond delivers from 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Your new kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Or get this low-mileage lease on this 2025 Cadillac XT5 Luxury for around $499 per month.
Visit Court Cadillac in Bangor.
No matter where you are in Maine, the new WorkSource Maine Virtual Career Center is here to help. The Maine Department of Labor, along with local workforce boards, has a new Virtual Career Center ready to assist and connect Mainers. Job seekers get free career coaching, training, and job search help. Employers find hiring support and workforce training programs. It's easy, it's free, and it's built for Maine. Visit myworksourcemaine.gov today.
This is my playpen.
I get that, Your Honor.
Perfect.
Judge Judy never misses a beat.
Weeknights at 5 on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, folks. Thanks for staying with us. The 2025 Hockey East champion Maine Black Bears were awarded the #3 overall seed in the NCAA tournament Sunday afternoon. They'll head to Allentown, PA, where they'll face Penn State in the first round on Friday at 8:30. I caught up with Thursday night's overtime hero to talk about Maine's draw. All right, I'm here with Nolan Renwick, the hero on Thursday night in overtime, assistant captain of the Maine Black Bears. Nolan, saw the draw in there. It's Penn State and Allentown. What are your initial thoughts?
I think it's, first of all, very cool. I was just said to a lot of people, I've never played a Big Ten team, so that's going to be interesting. And, seeing from all the videos of Penn State's fan base, their following, they got a great, it's probably going to be a good atmosphere game in Pennsylvania, so it's going to be very exciting and excited to get there.
Yeah, I want to talk about the atmosphere for a second. Obviously, everyone saw the showing Maine fans brought down to Boston. It's a little bit of a longer drive over there to Pennsylvania, I think just an hour outside of Philly. What's your message to the Maine fans to try to get them and try to combat that Penn State excitement they're going to have going down there?
Yeah, I guarantee that there's going to be a lot of people hopping in their cars making the drive. I've already talked to a couple people, and I really didn't know what to expect if people were going to do it, but Maine fans continue to surprise me, especially this weekend at the Garden, the reception we got back in Orono. I'm never going to doubt them again, so I wouldn't be surprised if people pack up their cars and make the trip, and we need you out there for the support. You guys make a big difference.
Quickly, we talked all weekend about the support you guys got down there. How cool is that to see, the Maine fans who couldn't make it down to Boston, receive you guys over at the Alphon yesterday? That had to be another special moment to what was a spectacular weekend.
Yeah, they continue to shock me. I mean, when I got off the bus, at the TD Garden for the final game, I was just at a loss for words. And, you know, you're walking through that aisle of people, and it just brought the energy levels through the roof. And then get back here yesterday, and, you know, people are cheering, waiting for you on the streets. You have police cars escorting you back. It's just amazing. And, you know, those are going to be core memories for the rest of my life, and we really appreciate your support.
And you spoke about never playing a Big Ten team. Those are kind of the two titans in college hockey, right? Hockey East, Big Ten. They cross over a couple teams every year, but never in your career you've played a Big Ten team, as you said. Do you know anything about the style of play out there and what to expect from a Big Ten squad?
A little bit. I mean, you hear that it's fast, high-paced, skilled hockey, but I think, you know, you get into these playoff games, especially in these regional games, you know, when everything's on the line, there's only really one style of hockey, and that's just playing the right way, playing hard and physical, and, you know, at the end of the day, doing whatever it takes to win, because they're not going to ask how it's done, but there's one team's going to win, and, you know, we want to be that team.
And just talk about the confidence you guys gained, obviously winning the Hockey East. You can call it the best conference in college hockey this year. An absolute gauntlet. How much confidence getting that championship under your belt and you know, raising a trophy, right? That just had, obviously it's the conference. You got the bigger one. I'm sure you guys, it's another goal of yours to win the national championship and bring it back home to Orono. But that feeling of breaking through has to give you guys confidence going forward.
A lot of confidence, a lot of momentum too. I mean, you know, you go into these NCAA tournaments, and what's happened in the past, especially in this Hockey East tournament, it doesn't really matter a ton. But I think in terms of experience, you know, the double overtime game, playing in front of 17,000 fans, we can really draw back on that in a high-pressure, high-stakes situation, being able to stay calm and composed and, you know, fight through adversity. You know, we were down by 1 in the semifinals there, and we just stuck with it. And we'll really draw back on that heading into these games, because you never know what's going to happen. You know, we could find ourselves in similar situations, so that's going to prove to be very helpful for us moving forward.
Thanks to Nolan for taking the time to chat. This weekend I made the trip down to Boston to bring you coverage of Maine's Hockey East Championship run. Friday night I got the chance to roam around the greatest bar, talking to Maine fans ahead of Friday's championship game. Welcome back in, folks. You know, we've been showing you a couple shots from the greatest bar. You probably wish you were down here right now supporting the Black Bears, so we're going to bring it to you. We got a couple questions. What's your name, brother?
Noah.
What do you think the Black Bears are going to do tonight against these UConn Huskies?
Oh, Black Bears are winning, baby. Black Bears to the top.
Where are you coming from?
Bangor.
You made the trip, not even a question.
No, not even a question every year.
How about you?
Where am I coming from?
Yeah, where you coming from?
New York City.
What brought you up here, Black Bears?
What?
What brought you up here, the Black Bears?
You're damn right.
Well, what do you think's going down tonight? You think they're going to get it done?
First time in 21 years, tonight, in the same building.
First time in 21 years you heard. Let's see the Naked Five. Let's see the Naked Five. We got the Naked Five in the building. In the building. The Alphon is your home. What's it like to run around the TD Garden?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, what makes Alphon special is all the people. We have so many people here supporting the UMaine boys. It's just nothing like in the entire world, really.
Electric. Let's go. Let's go see some alumni. Let's go see some alumni. So much fun talking to those fans. It was all worth it. All the trips made from all over were worth it by the Maine Black Bears victory. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Chevy makes affordable vehicles that help you enjoy life. Get more for less in the Chevy Trax. Maximize every mile in the all-electric Equinox. And power through with the capable Colorado. Enjoy endless possibilities and your new Chevy.
Get the versatile 2025 Trax, starting at $21,795.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
If you've been hurt in a car accident, watch this.
I got hurt bad in this accident, so I called the Twos. The Twos guy turned this accident into $195,000.
The Twos guy turned this accident into $260,000.
I get a lot of money for a lot of Mainers. Money for lost earnings, money for medical bills, and money for all your pain and suffering.
$400,000 for my case.
Hurt in a car accident? I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Hewitt Lift and Rolodoc creates
the strongest, simplest, and most reliable dock system. With one simple goal:
to get you on the lake
faster and easier than anyone else.
Because at Hewitt,
we build stronger.
After 40 years of quality building, we get it.
Hewitt Family builds for your family.
For your family.
For your family.
Stand on the solid foundation of the Hewitt family.
Docks, pontoon legs, and boat lifts.
You work hard, play harder. You deserve a Hewitt.
All right, now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
Here's ABC's Chuck Sivertson.
This was my father's kingdom, a place of fairness, but the Queen changed everything.
Disney's live-action Snow White, #1 at weekend theater box offices, but with only $43 million in ticket sales, according to studio estimates. It cost over $250 million. Reviews were not strong. But like Mufasa the Lion King, Disney has steered some modest starts into ultimately big hauls. Disney's the parent company of ABC News. Black Bag second in ticket sales, and Captain America Brave New World third with over $4 million each. The Jonas Brothers revealed tour details for their Jonas 20 Living the Dream Tour, which they say is a celebration of their 20-year journey from performing in malls to headlining the biggest stadiums in the world. The brothers just released their new single, Love Me to Heaven, and exclusively shared the tour news on Good Morning America. Jonas 20, Living the Dream, the tour, will kick off on August 10th at MetLife Stadium.
Oh, that's
in New Jersey.
amazing.
The Jonas' tour kicking off August 10th at MetLife Stadium. 43 dates altogether, including Dodgers Stadium in L.A., Rogers Center in Toronto, Wrigley Field in Chicago, and Global Life Field in Arlington from August through November. Conan O'Brien was celebrated at a gala Sunday night ahead of receiving the Mark Twain Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Comedy at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington. The show was recorded but won't be streamed on Netflix until a future undisclosed date. The cast of people honoring O'Brien was also kept secret. Chuck Sivertson, ABC News.
Well, we just heard from another school that's going to be calling off classes a little early today because of the storm. Orono High School, Orono School Department closing at noon today. So keep that in mind. Parents will have to go pick up their kids or whatever they have to do.
Half day's a little different.
Yeah.
All right, now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with a look at that full forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and at our newest location, 485 Main Street in Orono. We have the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. Here we go. We have a winter weather advisory posted until 2 a.m. Tuesday for the counties in purple for snow accumulations that may cause some issues moving forward today. We also have a small craft advisory up along the coast until 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. So overall, we're not too bad, at least just quite yet with regards to the wave heights, but further out towards sea, a little bit more active at around 7 feet at this time. The radar and satellite quiet at the moment, but we are watching our rain and snow opportunities that will be on the way, mainly as snow for us, but we could see a little bit of rain along the coast later on this evening. So let's talk about this. We have some snow on the way by around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and it may get heavy at times. There's that little bit of rain possible along the southern coast arriving later this evening. Then the snow starts to wrap up later on tonight. Some clouds and fog will also be a possibility tonight and a parts of Tuesday morning. And a few more rain and snow showers on the way throughout the day Tuesday and the parts of early Tuesday evening. Then we'll clear out for a bit, maybe more areas of dense fog by early Wednesday morning. So here's the thinking with regards to the snowfall. Anywhere you see pink indicates the possibility of 3 to 5 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts, but anywhere else you see blue or purple, really. Blue really is what I'm seeing with regards to the color. Around 1 to 3 inches of snow will be possible. But otherwise, some gusty winds to watch out for, getting up to 20 to 25 miles per hour today. We will calm down later on tonight. Maybe a few gusty winds tomorrow, getting up to 15 to 20 miles per hour in a few areas. So for today, we have mid-30s, snow likely breezy out there. Southeast wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Tonight, rain and snow showers extending, lows in the upper 20s. Areas of dense fog as well, and an east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mid-40s, rain and snow showers, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by SR1 Companies. Rain and snow chances Wednesday with highs in the mid-40s. Mid-40s again for your Thursday. Another chance for rain and snow showers. And yet again, another chance for rain and snow showers on Friday with highs in the mid-40s.
Great Scott! This is Green Bear 420 in 2010. What kind of trip is this? I gotta get back to 2023. Wait, it's 2015. So much has changed. In 2023, we had a lot more glass, t-shirts, and novelties. It's gonna take a bolt of lightning to get me home. Finally, home at last. Now Green Bear 420, Green Bear Green Care is bigger and better than ever. To be continued.
Here we are, patient billing.
Whoa, who's that?
Oh, well, that's Mark. He marks up medicines.
340B medicine markups?
Bingo. As a nonprofit, we might pay a penny for a medicine. Mark marks it up to thousands of dollars, and we pocket the difference.
I hear we're buying up small hospitals, too.
More medicines to mark up.
It's Markdown Mania at the Furniture Gallery, and the deals are madness. Relax in this cozy recliner. Choose tan, gray, or brown for only $2.98. Grab a sofa chaise for just $5.98. Upgrade your living room with a sofa and love seat set, now just $7.98. Scott Living mattresses are now priced king size for a queen price. Plus, save up to 70% on in-stock clearance items. Hurry into the Furniture Gallery, shop our main family-owned business, and save money. The Furniture Gallery.
Ugh, when is my allergy spray gonna kick in?
You need Astapro.
Astapro?
It's faster, bro. 8 times faster than Flonase.
It's faster, bro.
It's faster, bro!
It's faster, bro.
It's mom to you.
Astapro starts working in 30 minutes. Astapro and go.
After 37 years.
It's now or never.
It's now. The final chapter begins with big guests and bigger surprises.
He's just a friend. If you want people to believe anything you say, don't start by saying you have a friend.
Sportsman magazine in partnership with the Sportsman's Alliance of Maine, gearing up for the 43rd State of Maine Sportsman Show in Augusta. That's coming up this weekend. Organizers say more than 7,000 outdoor enthusiasts attended last year's show. The 2.5-day event is expected to feature over 100 exhibitors, various educational seminars, demonstrations, and an archery station as well.
Archery station?
Yeah, you can go try archery.
Ooh, I need to try.
The show aims to serve as an entry into the spring and summer seasons and the official start of open water fishing as well. Returning this year will also be the annual duck stamp contest and a youth turkey calling contest. Bet you could do that one too if you want, Emma.
Well, I'm not a youth, but I would try.
Oh, you're still young. The Sportsman Show will run from Friday to Sunday at the Augusta Civic Center. For more information on the schedule and admission costs, you can visit this story on our website at foxbangor.com. It really is a big old deal around here.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we are out of time. If you missed anything, head to foxbangor.com.
Have a great day, everyone.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
The other driver totaled my new truck and left me pretty seriously injured. As soon as I spoke with Joe Bornstein's office, I felt protected and safe. I knew calling Joe was the right decision. Joe Bornstein's office took care of everything. I didn't have to worry about it and could just focus on getting better. I'm extremely happy with the result, and I'd recommend Joe Bornstein's office to anyone who's been in an accident. Call and talk to them. It's free. Give them a chance to tell you what they can do for you.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Bangor Brewer bowling lanes on Wilson Street in Brewer, featuring 24 lanes of candlepin bowling and a big arcade room where kids can win great prizes. Glow bowling on Saturday nights from 7 until closing. Bring your entire family. A fun entertainment for all ages.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off fun from foxbangor.com. Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it seriously. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches. Voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half-off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a woman accused of murdering her boyfriend in Etna will make her first court appearance today.
Plus, food pantries in Hancock County are concerned how budget cuts will impact the growing need for assistance.
And thousands visited sugar houses around the state to celebrate Maine Maple Weekend.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. I know spring started last week, but I have some bad news for folks. You might have heard by now. It looks like a little winter storm's going to be moving into the state later on today. We're going to pick up a couple of inches, maybe a little bit more, depending on where you live. And some schools are already calling in saying they're going to be canceling classes for the afternoon. Orono is the latest school system to say they're going to close at noon today.